Welcome to the 1%er podcast. My name's Ed Jaffa. It's great to have you here for another episode. And today I'll be talking about the power of the mind. Now, the mind is something that, it's something that I've been fascinated about for years and years, through years of studying personal development and obviously working in the health and fitness industry as well. I'm always looking into how people's minds work. And, how powerful is your mind? I believe our minds are very powerful. They can either, help us achieve phenomenal success, or our minds can hold us back from achieving that success because of the ongoing habits and behaviors that we have, our thoughts, our belief systems. At the end of the day, you're not a robot. You're not a machine. You're a human being. We have emotions, we have thoughts, we have self-doubts. And it's normal to have these experiences and these feelings. Now, if we think about a machine, if we think about a piece of technology or some software, they carry out tasks on autopilot. They are programmed with a set of instructions, and they carry out those instructions like a machine. Efficiently, they get the task done. But as human beings, if we were given the same set of instructions, we wouldn't do it quite so efficiently, because the only difference between us and a machine or a piece of software is we have a mind, we have a brain, and often that can slow us down. Often we can procrastinate, often we can get distracted, often we can search for other ways of doing things. We overthink things. We look for easier ways to do things. We look for quicker ways to do things. Whereas a machine, if they're given a task and a set of instructions, it just gets it done. But we're not machines, we're not robots, we are human beings. So we need to understand what our minds are doing and how to kind of disconnect from that. The mind has so much power over where you are today. And it's just a topic that has fascinated me for years and years and years. How the human brain works, how the mind works, what makes us take action, why do we procrastinate, and so forth. So, I want to talk to you about your mind and how much impact does your mind have over you achieving your goals. When you're in the right mentality, when you're confident, you feel like you're unstoppable. But when you're not so confident, when you start having self-doubts, these are the things that slow you down and stop you from achieving your goals. But all these things they're just thoughts in your mind. They're not actual real life tangible things that are happening. It is just thoughts that are going on in your brain that either slow you down or speed you up. So generally, confidence makes us go faster. Self-doubt slows us down. So what gives you self-doubt? Where does it come from? And how do we gain confidence? Now, often it's to do, as we go through life, we are recording. We've got like a log of every event and action that we take and everything that happens to us within our life. So basically, we are running off past experiences, because the future hasn't happened yet. The past is gone. So all we know is what we've done and what's happened up until this point. So, really we are living in the past. And, some of the things that have happened in the past are useful. We learn from, the things that have happened in the past can be useful to us. We learn from our mistakes so that we don't have to make those mistakes again. So, that should give us confidence to move forward rather than self-doubt. If you use your past to your advantage, use it to your advantage to help you learn and grow, because ultimately that's what's happening. Every mistake we make, every failure, everything that's gone wrong in our life is an opportunity to learn and grow. It doesn't mean it's going to happen again, because as I said, the future, it's ahead of us. We're not there yet. We don't know what's going to happen. We're not fortune tellers. We're just making a decision based on what's already happened. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen again, especially if we learn from what's happened and we take a different approach. how many times have you started something and you've not followed through and finished it? How many times have you started a fitness journey with the goal to get fit and lose weight, but you just don't ever see anything through? How many times have you started a book, but you've not finished it? How many times have you started to learn something, maybe a course, but you've not finished it? Human beings, we tend to start things when our motivation is high, when we have that confidence, when we're excited, when we're motivated, we start things. But then naturally what happens over time, our motivation takes a bit of a dip, and those thoughts and those voices start speaking up in our head, and it slows us down. Self-doubt creeps in, and then we can either carry on and push beyond that, or what happens to most people is they stop, they give up. Often it's the mind that gets the better of us, the voice that we are telling ourselves in our head. You can't do that. You've been here before. You're going around in circles. You're making the same mistakes. Why are you even bothering? Whatever voices you've got going on in your head, these are the voices that are slowing you down. Or you could choose to listen to a more positive voice. I'm not going to give up this time. I'm going to keep pushing on however I feel. Because often we take action based on our feelings. If you don't feel like doing something, most people won't do it. Most people don't feel like going to the gym. Most people don't feel like getting up early in the morning. Most people don't feel like, taking an action that's going to make them feel uncomfortable. And often people can let those feelings get the better of them. But those that are successful, those that do push on through and make it to the finish line, those that do achieve their fitness goals, those that do achieve their business, life, whatever goals, are the ones that take action despite how they feel. They still show up, even if they feel tired. They still show up, even if they're demotivated and they can't be bothered today. So that's the secret to achieving success, is taking action, even when you don't feel like it, even when that self-doubt creeps in, even when you got that voice, chatting away in the back of your mind, telling you can't do something, you still carry on. Because your mind, I believe your mind is very powerful. You can either listen to that voice and let it get the better of you, or you can ignore it and choose to change the self-dialogue and the self-talk that's going on in your mind to a positive voice and carry on. Because the mind is so powerful. Ultimately, it's the only thing that will either stop you or help you achieve success. Look how many weight loss plans there are out there. Look how many workouts you can get access to free of charge. We've got all the information we need to be fit, have a six-pack, be rich, whatever you need, whatever you want to be successful in, the tools are there. In this day and age, technology, the internet, you can get access to any topic you want, any piece of education. You can read a book, you can learn about anything you want about achieving any goal you want. So why isn't everyone achieving those goals? It's because of the mind. It stops you. This won't work for me. I've tried this before. And this is why I believe the mind is so powerful. It's powerful in how it can stop us. And it's also powerful in how we can use it to our advantage. But, what we also need to understand is the voices in our head often are quite over-exaggerated. Often it's not real. Often, when we talk about fear, often, the acronym of fear is false evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real. So often, what are your fears in your head don't actually happen in real life. It's just your mind making up stories. So in the book, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, he talks about, separating yourself from your mind. You are not your mind. And when you separate yourself from your mind, it just gives you, it just makes you feel much more powerful, much more confident in what you're doing, because you separate yourself from that voice, it becomes someone else. It's not you. It is just your mind. It's not real. So by separating yourself from your mind is a really powerful exercise that you can do. And it just kind of, almost kind of shrinks that voice, and it makes it more meaningless. I've studied a lot of stuff from Paul McKenna as well, the hypnotist Paul McKenna, and he talks about, shrinking that voice. If it's a big voice quacking away in your head, shrink it down, visualize yourself shrinking it down into just like a tiny little pea. And the smaller it is, the less impact it has over you. So just separating yourself from your mind is a really, really powerful exercise. Your mind can either make you or break you, and it's up to you to choose who wins. It's up to you to choose who wins. Is it the negative Nelly voice that quacks away in your head telling you can't do something? Or is it the more positive voice that tells you, I can do it, I'm going to do it, I will do it, I will succeed, I will learn from previous mistakes, I will continue to push on even when self-doubt creeps in. I will double down on my efforts to push through, because ultimately that's what's going to make me successful. So I hope you found this episode of the 1%er podcast motivational and inspirational. And if your mind is telling you you can't do something, then just realize that you are not your mind and your mind is not you. Separate yourself from it and push on anyway. Hope you enjoyed that. And I will see you on the next episode of the 1%er podcast. Bye for now.